Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and yesterday Apple released watchOS 10.3 RC, or release candidate. watchOS 10.3 RC is out to developers and public beta testers, and this should be the final version that releases to the public next week. We'll talk about when exactly to expect that a little bit later. Now, as you can see, this came in at a fairly small 245 megabytes. That's on my Apple Watch Ultra 2, and was released alongside many other updates such as iOS 17.3 RC, iPadOS 17.3 RC, and many others as well. Now, this particular update does not remove the O2 functionality. Many of you may have been concerned about this. It does not remove that functionality from the Apple Watch. Rather, it actually is just off of those that are being sold new in the United States. If you go to Apple Watch's website on apple.com, you'll see it says Apple Watch Series 9 and Ultra 2 no longer include the blood oxygen feature. However, if you have a current watch with watchOS 10.3, this will not disable that feature. It just won't be available in new watches in the United States sold from Apple. So if we go into our watch settings here, and then we go down to blood oxygen, you'll see it's still on my Series 2 Ultra watch. Tap start, and it works just fine. So it's definitely something that's still there. They're not removing it, so don't worry about that. I just wanted to clarify that. Now let's take a look at the build number and talk about what's new. So we'll go to settings, then general, then about. As you can see, the build number is 21S644, and as long as there's no additional issues, this should be the build that's released to the public sometime next week. Now, this does include some new features, and the first one has to do with watch faces. It's actually easier to show you on the iPhone, so let's scroll over here. We'll go to Watch, go to our Face Gallery, wait for it to load just a moment here, and you'll see at the top, new watch faces include Unity Bloom. This is a new watch face that they release typically every February or end of January, and you'll see we have single bloom, full bloom. We can add that here, of course, and you'll see it changed. It has some depth to it. It looks okay. Pretty good, actually. If you swipe over, go to edit, you don't have a ton of complications or anything, but you can change the overall color. So if you want to swipe back, you have a bunch of different options. So if you want to switch through maybe multicolor, red, we also have green, and that's it for this one. So there are no complications available for this watch style. If we go back to our face gallery, go into Unity Bloom, and then we'll add this one as well, the regular Unity Bloom, press and hold, go to edit. You'll see again, if we swipe through, we have similar colors, red, green, and multicolor, and we do have complications on this one. So if you want to use complications, we've got a couple different options here. And this goes along with a new watch band that they've released as well. So you'll see it here. It says Apple unveils 2024 Black Unity Collection supporting grantees that inspire resilience and creativity. If we scroll down, released along with this watch face, keep going, and you'll see the new watch face along with the new watch band. So you can order that now. It's $50 in the United States, and you'll see it with the different watch faces as well. So if you want to order that, you can actually order that. Now, as far as something else that's been updated, they've updated the swipe feature on the home screen. So before, they actually added this feature where you can just swipe through again. They added it back, but then they wouldn't make it on by default. Now it's actually available by default. So if we go into our settings and we go back to our clock settings, scroll down to where it actually says clock, under clock, this will be turned on by default if it wasn't already, and maybe you're on an older version. If you already have it off, it will not switch it on though. So if you purposely turn that off, it won't switch it back on. Also, something else that's been updated, or at least recognized recently, is if we swipe all the way over to the end here, if you have the Snoopy watch face, it seems to change based on region as far as the animations. Maybe it's New Year's, you'll see some fireworks. If it's Chinese New Year's, it'll be updated for that. If it's Christmas, you'll see animations that pertain to that. So if we turn it back on, of course, there's so many that you possibly can't see them all. I think there's about 150 different ones, and it seems like they update them all the time. So the Snoopy watch face continues to get updated, and there's some really nice animations. Of course, we've seen this one. Let's see if we can get one more new one here. And you'll see a few you may not have seen before, and it's always sort of a delightful surprise, especially around the holidays. Something else they've included with iOS 17.3 that carries over to watchOS 10.3 as well is if we go into music, go to our library, you'll see that I have a playlist here that allows for collaboration. This is my test playlist, and you can see that you can actually like these with emoji, and it carries over to the Apple Watch. So you can share a collaborative playlist. So if we go into our music app here, we'll go into music, we've got our playlists, And we've got our test playlist, which is collaborative. We'll scroll down here and you can see all of the same songs. So the same playlist is available on Apple Watch as well. You can delete from the library, you can add to it directly from the watch, shuffle, and more. So you could suggest less or favorite it, just like you would with any other playlist, but now it's collaborative. So that's something they've been updating, and we finally have it as it was promised with the initial version of iOS 17 and watchOS 10. As far as bug fixes, if we go back to the screenshot I took when I was installing this, the actual update says not only does it include the Unity Bloom watch face, but it says for more information on the security content of Apple software updates, please visit this website. There does not appear to be any notes that say that there's anything that's been fixed. However, I would hope there's bug fixes. Apple has been kind of terrible lately as far as the actual notes. They haven't included a lot. There's nothing in the feedback app. And if we go to the public release website, and this is a public facing website, but if we scroll down and we go to the release notes, you'll see there's not a whole lot here. Just one thing that's mentioned where it says copying debug symbols from an Apple Watch running watchOS 10.3 Beta 2 might take up to 20 minutes. They really haven't updated it since Beta 2. There's not a whole lot of information in here. There's also supposed to be security updates, but Apple doesn't update this website until after it's released to the public. So we have the Magic Keyboard firmware update we had last week, but they haven't updated it and they won't until it's released to the public. As far as when to expect this to release, well, it should be probably Monday or Tuesday. So typically on the 22nd or 23rd of January, based off what Apple has actually said on the website where they actually announced the new watch face. So if we go back here, and if we scroll down where they announced the watch face and new Apple Watch band, you can actually see, if we scroll down, you'll see here where it actually says that it will be available beginning January 23rd for the watch band, and it also requires watchOS 10.3. So it could release on the 22nd or 23rd, but either way, it has to be out by the 23rd in order for this to work properly with that new watch band. So I would expect that very, very soon. And of course, I'll have a video about anything else that's new or any changes they've made since then. As far as performance, so far performance on the watch has been fine. I actually used this at CES the entire time and really had pretty good battery life as well. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But going into things like music, like I showed you before, or maybe we'll go into weather, it loads, takes a second just because it has to get that data, but in general, it's nice and fast, and I really haven't had any issues. So just swiping through different apps, tapping on the Lumi app, everything seems to be really fast. Also, battery life, like I said, has been pretty good. If we take a look at battery life, we're at 94%, and it's been off the charger since this morning. But when I was using it at CES, I was tracking a ton of different steps and more. And by the end of the day, I still had 75% of my battery health or battery life left after using 10,000 steps or so. It really had no issues with many outdoor walk workouts and more. So if we go down to our battery life here, let's go back over, go down to battery, under battery, scroll down to battery health. You'll see here that if we go down, we're still at 100% capacity. I have the same on my Ultra 1 as well, so no issues with that whatsoever. Seems to be holding up well, and I'm pretty pleased with the battery life overall. Even on watchOS 10.2, I had great battery life. No issues whatsoever. As far as this watch band, this actually is a limited edition Nomad watch band, but they have a new red one that I'll be wearing in some future videos. This was available at CES. They gave out about a couple hundred of these, and that was about it. But I really like it, and it's for those of you wondering what watch face I'm using, we'll just press and hold here. I'm using modular. So you'll see modular here. We'll edit, and then the complication I'm using in the middle is called Lumi. So you'll see here it provides golden hour, a countdown to when the sun goes down, best time to take photos basically, sunrise. You'll see all the other complications as well you can choose from. So I've been using this watch face for a very long time. I really like it, and it's available now. Let me know if there's anything else you've found in watchOS 10.3. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.